What's up everyone, my name is Marie, welcome to my channel and welcome to another speed build. So for today's video I am actually back in the world of Mount Komorebi and I'm really excited about it. It's been a while since I've built anything here, and for this build I actually tried to build something Japanese inspired. And so yeah, this is a Japanese inspired townhouse. I always think it's a bit scary to say, like to explain when something is inspired by a certain style or a certain culture or a certain country. Because I'm not an expert, I don't know a lot about Japanese architecture other than the images that I found while doing research on it, and yeah, just items or images that I've seen and used for reference. So yeah, this is a house that is definitely inspired by one or more like reference pictures that I found on Pinterest. I just basically scrolled through Pinterest while looking at like Japanese townhouses, and then yeah, this is just kind of the house that I came up with myself. So I didn't have like a certain reference picture, but I just looked at a whole bunch of them and then came up with my own build basically. And what I did for this build, as you can see, I actually placed 2 debug lots or debug buildings on this lot as well, because I wanted this house to be as crammed as possible. So the house is definitely small, and then the backyard, as you can see, or it's not really a backyard even, it's more of a side yard, is really small. Because I wanted, yeah, well, like I just explained, I wanted this house to be as crammed as possible and have it still be a family home of some sort. It's a 2-bedroom house. Now that we have bunk beds, you can actually make it into like a house for like 2 parents and 2 kids if you wanted to. But what I did is I furnished it for 2 parents and a teenager. Well, actually 2 grandparents and a teenager. But yeah, I wanted this house to be as small as possible without being a tiny home. Like I wanted it to be a family home still, but I wanted the house to have like a very small yard, as you can see. And yeah, it's a townhouse. And like I said, I wanted it to be as crammed as possible. And I really like how cozy it is now with the other buildings on the back of the lot. I feel like it's so cozy and so realistic in that sense as well. And I love the little like alley, if that's what you call it, like in between the buildings. I think it's just so cute. One thing that's a little bit weird is your Sims can actually walk straight through those buildings because they're debug items. So your Sims don't actually see them as items. They don't see them at all. They just walk through there. I did, however, decorate them a little bit with some flower boxes underneath the windows and things like that. And I decorated the alleyway a little bit later on, and I placed some bikes around and things like that to just make it look as realistic as possible. But basically, I'm really happy with the way that this build came out, because the lot is so small, or like the lot is not small, but the lot that I don't know, just the size of the lot that I kept for this build, if that makes sense, is really small. And I love that about it, so that I had to use every single like inch of room that I could find for the house and for the backyard, and that makes it just so much fun in my opinion. I've had a lot of fun building this house. And for the storyline, I didn't really have anything very specific in mind, but as I was furnishing it, I felt like it would be for grandparents. I don't know why. Probably because I tried to make it look a little bit dated. So I used a lot of browns and beiges, and the flooring and the wallpaper. It's kind of old looking. It's not gross looking by any means, and it's not so much outdated either. It's a little bit old. Like, this house has not been renovated for a while. And that's kind of the vibe that I was going with. And then as I was furnishing it, like I just explained, I felt like it would be perfect for a couple of grandparents. And since I also wanted to include at least one kid or teenager, I decided that it'd be fun if these grandparents were living with their granddaughter. Well, actually, the granddaughter is living with the grandparents, obviously. That's how it works. And then also, as I was furnishing it and as I was thinking of that storyline, I realized that Mount Komorebi actually comes with a household, I think, with 2 grandparents and their granddaughter, if I believe, who's a teenager. I think there is a default household in Mount Komorebi. That's 2 grandparents and a teenager. So you could actually move those that household into this lot if you wanted to, if you want to play with them. If not, then it's just a coincidence. And obviously you can use this house for any sort of household. Like it really doesn't matter. You can go either way. You could change the whole interior of the house to make it fit your Sims or your storyline. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, as I was saying, I was thinking that this would be cute for 2 grandparents and their granddaughter. And I was thinking that the granddaughter originally lives, I don't know, just in a different neighborhood, maybe just like Willow Creek or something, or maybe even Oasis Springs. But she aspires to be a professional snowboarder or skier, a professional athlete basically. And so she moved to Mount Komorebi, I can't speak, to live with her grandparents. So she can still go to high school here in Mount Komorebi, but combine her academics with her her athletic career, basically, because she does want to be a professional snowboarder. And I feel like she would also be very talented. Like she moved here because she is really gonna make it. Like she can do it. She is going to go to the Olympics and things like that. We don't have that in The Sims, obviously, but I thought it'd be a fun idea that she's actually very talented, and the young teenager that she is, she's actually already a professional. So she needs to live here because she still needs to go to school, but she also needs to work on her athletic career, basically. And here in Mount Komorebi, she can actually combine the 2. And I was thinking that she is a senior in high school at this point as well. So it's not too long before she graduates, and then she can actually focus on her career and maybe like move into a little apartment. We don't have apartments in Mount Komorebi, but still, like maybe she, obviously not right away, like obviously she'll still be living with her grandparents for a while, but she doesn't want to stay here forever. So she probably will get like her own little place at some point. But for now, she's just living her life with her grandparents, and I feel like she loves it. I feel like the grandparents and the granddaughter would really get along very well. Like they have a really close bond and they love each other, obviously. And yeah, I feel like it was just a perfect little storyline for this house. And another thing that I really enjoyed about this build is I tried to make the floor plan as closed off as possible, which is not something I do very often. I personally really like to go for more open floor plans. That's what I like in real life too. I like homes to be, or apartments, just spaces to be airy and open and have an open floor plan, like open kitchen, dining, living area. I love that vibe, but for this house, I actually tried to make it look, or to make it as closed off as possible, because like I already explained, I tried to make this house look a little bit older and a little bit more dated. So I felt like a closed off floor plan would be perfect for that. So that's what I went with. And I really like the way that it came out. It's definitely a little bit on the cramped side, but that's what I tried to go for. And the color scheme is not as nice and crisp. You can see that I used a lot of very dark wood tones combined with that green couch that I actually really like. I love that green color. It's not per se it's not a pretty color per se, but I think it's a really cool color. And if you combine it nicely with different colors, like more modern colors or more like modern colors, that's not a thing, but like a more like modern aesthetic, basically, then that couch could be really cool and vintage. But for this house, it just kind of looks a little bit dated, and that's what I love about it as well. And I used that old TV, as you can see, because I just thought it would make sense in here. And yeah, I cluttered up the space a little bit, and overall, I had a lot of fun with this house and the storyline. As I was furnishing it, like at this point, I still had no clue what to do with the storyline. Like I didn't know. I did know that I wanted to include a kid's bedroom or a teenager's bedroom, and we also didn't have the bunk beds just yet. I built this house before the update, so yeah, maybe if we already did have the bunk beds, maybe I would have come up with a way different storyline. I probably would have included bunk beds because the bedrooms upstairs, like the teenager's bedroom, would be perfect for a bunk bed. But I don't know, I like the storyline as it is. And I know that it's an existing storyline pretty much in this expansion pack in Snowy Escape. But yeah, like I said, you could also just move that household into this house if you want to play with them. And if you don't like their home, for example, I don't know why you wouldn't, because if you didn't know, the homes that come with Snowy Escape, like with the world, with Mount Komorebi, are actually built by James Turner, Simmarysims, the Ligracy, and Lil Simsy, and the homes are so gorgeous. Like I love all of them. I think they're so pretty. And I personally always feel a little bit sad whenever I have to bulldoze one to build here in Mount Komorebi because they're just so nice. But I mean, at the same time, I also want to build here, so I'm gonna have to bulldoze them. They won't be gone though. They're in the world by default, so you could always place them back or start a new game. So it's not an issue at all, but I feel like their houses are just so beautiful. But still, like I want to build my own homes as well. But as you can see, this is the living area. I already furnished the living area part of this room, if that makes sense. And then this is actually also the dining room. So it's a combined space because in the kitchen, I didn't have the space for a full-on dining table. There is a little breakfast table in the kitchen, only with 2 chairs though. So no full-on dining table. So I decided to place the dining table in here, and I think it worked out perfectly fine. It actually took me a while to build this house, or not necessarily to build it. The shape of the house came along pretty quickly and quite easily. I don't know why that happened. It was not too difficult this time because I had such a clear vision of what I wanted to build, like not the exact style and the exact shape of the house, but I did have a very like specific vibe in mind, if that makes sense. So that always makes it a little bit easier as far as the exterior of the build goes. But yeah, the interior actually took me a little bit of time because I wanted it to be quite cluttered and lived in, and yeah, just cluttered overall, but still playable. So that's what I tried to achieve, and it always takes a little bit longer if you want to clutter up the space. Because I also use a lot of debug items and stuff, so that always takes a lot of scrolling. I know there is a mod for a more organized debug menu, and I feel like I would definitely benefit from installing that mod. I haven't done it because I think that your builds, you can't like upload your builds to the gallery straight away because, well, you can, but it will say that you're using custom content, and I don't want that for my builds because that makes them more difficult to find if you want to download them and use them. And that means that you have to like close your game and then delete the mod and then open the game again and then upload your build to the gallery. And I think I'm just a little bit too lazy for that, even though that mod would be super helpful. But I feel like, yeah, I'm just a little bit too lazy to do that. But maybe at one point though, maybe at one point I will. But here you can see I actually also included a little study area. It's very small in here, but I wanted a dedicated office space. I don't know if the grandparents would still be working or not, but I feel like if they don't use the computer, then the teenager will, because the teenager does not have a computer in her bedroom, so she would probably use this space to do her homework and to do some studying and things. And then I also included an easel because I felt like maybe one of the grandparents really likes to paint, or maybe even the teenager, she really likes to paint. I mean, that's a possibility as well, obviously. But yeah, basically I just wanted to include that little extra skill building item. And here I was fiddling around a little bit more with the living area because I wanted to include an extra little chair somehow. I didn't really know how, but I ended up placing that little poof chair right there, and I think it looks so cute. It just fills up the space a little bit more, and that's exactly what it needed in my opinion. And yeah, here I moved on to the kitchen. I did use these counters from Snowy Escape. So these countertops actually do look a little bit more modern compared to the rest of the house, I feel like. But still, they're very versatile counters. Like, they're not too modern. They're just very basic. They're not necessarily quite modern. I mean, you could make them look modern in a modern home, but they're just very basic. In this house, I feel like they're not too modern, but maybe the kitchen was recently renovated a little bit and the rest of the house wasn't. Just they really needed a new kitchen, so they renovated the kitchen a little bit. I feel like that's very realistic. Like, that's definitely a possibility. So maybe they just got new countertops and a new stovetop, because the stove does actually really look really modern in my opinion. Still usable though in this house as well. It could also be very traditional looking depending on how you look at it. But still, I feel like maybe the kitchen did have slight renovations a few years back, maybe. I mean, that's a possibility. I really love this kitchen. For some reason, I feel like this is one of my favorite kitchens I have ever done. And I don't know why, because it's not necessarily very pretty. It's very dark, like the tiles on the wall are not necessarily like very pretty, but I do like the way it looks in here. It's so cozy, and the dark wood tones are really speaking to me for this kitchen somehow. And I cluttered it up a bunch because, once again, I wanted this house to be as lived in as possible. And I feel like this kitchen is just so cozy. And I also placed a little breakfast table in here. You'll see that in a little while. And I don't know, I feel like it's very realistic looking, and that's what I like about it so much. I did have some issues with the kitchen though. I couldn't get my sim to cut up her food anywhere, and I don't know why, because I left one countertop free of clutter. So I felt like she would be able to use that, but the problem was the clutter that I placed underneath it, because as you can probably see, I don't slot the items to where they slot naturally, if that makes sense, because I feel like they're pushed backwards a little bit too much inside the countertops, that is. And I feel like you can't really see the clutter, and I don't like that. I want to be able to see the clutter, so I always place it a little bit more forward. So I place it like where it doesn't slot. And I feel like the clutter was in the way a little bit. So for that one specific countertop next to the fridge, I actually did slot the clutter to where it would slot naturally so that it wouldn't give me any problems. And that worked in the end. So I made sure to playtest everything. So if you want to download this house, you could definitely do that. Just make sure to activate BB.move objects, and then you should be fine. And everything should work, because yeah, I playtested everything. But here you can see this is that little breakfast table that I was talking about. And I just think it looks so cute. I can really see the girl, like the teenager before she goes to school, like just sitting there eating her cereal quickly because she's in a hurry, and then leaving the cereal boxes on the table, even though her grandparents always tell her to put it away, but she doesn't have time because she needs to get to school. I don't know. I feel like I really get that vibe. Like I can really kind of feel or like see in my mind how this family would work day to day, if that makes sense. And I don't know, I always love it when that happens. It doesn't happen all the time, but for this build, it actually did. And I also actually made sure to use laundry, or to place down a laundry machine. No dryer though. I did that on purpose because I felt like it really fit the vibe to only use a laundry machine or place a laundry machine in here and no dryer, so that you actually have to hang your clothes outside on the clothesline. And I don't know, I felt like that was perfect for this house. So I quickly did that, and then off of the laundry room there is a very small 3-tile bathroom. I actually wanted to make it into a half bathroom with no shower, because I don't know, I felt like that would be perfect. But then I actually did have the space to place a shower because I didn't need to put a sink in there because there's already a sink in the laundry portion of the room, if that makes sense. So I decided to put a shower as well as a toilet in there to just have an extra shower. I mean, it's quite nice. There's only 3 Sims living in this house, so there are 2 full bathrooms actually. And that's quite nice for gameplay. That works out perfectly fine. But as you can see, we have moved on to the 2nd floor of the house. There is this very small little landing area that I just cluttered up a little bit with a nice chair and a little end table and stuff. And then here we have the grandparents' bedroom, which is quite small. But luckily with Snowy Escape, we got these little end tables or side tables that are very, very small, as you can see. And if you rotate them, they actually fit perfectly on a half tile next to the bed. And that's a trick that I always go to whenever I have to place a double bed against a very or in a cramped room like this. I like to use those little side tables because they fit there perfectly and it just looks so cute. So for this bedroom, I actually went with the style of the rest of the house. So a lot of darker wood tones and beigey tones and grays and things like that. So very neutral and kind of dark and I don't know, kind of dated looking, but still cozy and cute and lived in. Nothing special going on in this bedroom though, just a little dresser and a mirror and just some decorations, and then that's that. But this bedroom actually has a door that leads to a very, very small little balcony, which makes it perfect for the master, or to make this room into the master bedroom, I feel like, because the other bedroom is the exact same size, except it doesn't have a balcony. So that made it easy to turn this one into the master bedroom. And I just placed a little chest table, as you could see, on the balcony, and then that's that. And then for the teens bedroom, I actually made this room look a little bit more on the modern side because I felt like the grandparents probably didn't really use this room, or the room was very old. Like maybe it was already like an extra bedroom, but it was just really old looking. And I wanted to make it look like they had to make a run to IKEA to buy some furniture pieces for the granddaughter as soon as she moved in, because the grandparents wanted to make sure to give her a nice bedroom where she would feel at home with nice furniture, not expensive furniture, but just nice and a little bit more like updated furniture. So they had to make a run to IKEA to buy her a nice dresser, maybe a new bed and a desk and a chair, as you can see. And then the bookcase is actually really old, like that was probably already there, but she could make it work in there. And yeah, I wanted to make this room look a little bit more updated, as you can see. And I feel like it worked out. I really like this room. They probably gave it a fresh coat of paint on the wall as well. And it's nice and green and just colorful, but not too colorful. And it really looks like a teen's bedroom, in my opinion. That's a little bit more updated compared to the rest of the house. And that's exactly what I tried to do as well. And then this is the upstairs bathroom. So the actual real bathroom of the house, if that makes sense. I really like it. It's very basic, but yeah, I don't know, like the rest of the house, to me, it kind of feels realistic and cozy. And then here we have the very, very small quote unquote backyard. It's more of a side yard, but I think it looks very cozy. I placed a picnic table and a grill, so your Sims do have a nice grill as well. And of course the clothesline to hang your laundry. And then some ski equipment or snowboarding equipment for the teenager. And then that's that. So let's hop into the game and I'll show you the house in real time. So here we have the house in the game. I feel like it looks quite realistic and cozy. And I can show you what I did with the rest of the lot real quick. Here I placed just 2 debug buildings and I cluttered it up right here with just some random little items and stuff and some planter boxes. And I really love these alleyways in between the buildings. I feel like that looks so cozy. And back here, I also placed some lanterns and things to make it look cozy and cute and make it light up at night a little bit. But this is the very tiny side yard. I placed some equipment right here that I feel like would belong to the granddaughter, and just a nice grill and the clothesline right there and a little bench to sit and hang out. And I also made sure to place a couple of planter boxes so you could work on the gardening skills with your Sims if you wanted to. Then when we walk into the house, you enter into this entryway that's a little step down with a platform tool, and it's just a simple, easy room to like hang your coat, store your shoes and things like that. And then this way off of the hallway we have the living area. I think it's very cozy. It's cluttered but not too cluttered. I feel like it would still be playable as well, with a dining table right here as well. And then the sliding doors lead into the office area with a little computer right here, an accessible bookcase, and an easel as well. And then over here we have the kitchen. I feel like it's just so cozy in here. Like I said, I think the kitchen is still my favorite room of this house. I don't know why. I think it looks really cozy and it's slightly updated. As you can see, there is also a dishwasher in here, and yeah, a microwave, a sink, and a little breakfast nook right here as well. And then over here on this side we have the laundry room with just a washer, no dryer, so you're gonna have to hang your laundry outside, which I love that little gameplay aspect. You could always just delete this sink and add a dryer if you wanted to, like that's no issue at all. I did make sure that there is room to place a dryer in here if you want to. And then over here we have the shower. I did actually have to replace the Snowy Escape shower for the Discover University one right here, because for some reason whenever I place the Snowy Escape shower on a step down, like a lower platform like this, then for some reason my sim can't use it anymore, and that happens all the time. I don't know why, but I really wanted to work with a platform in here, so I decided to just replace it for this shower from Snowy Escape. Then upstairs we have this tiny little landing area, and then over here we have the teens bedroom, which, like I already explained, feels a little bit more like updated with slightly more modern furniture that they probably got from like IKEA or a similar store. Like I don't really know, but just a little bit more updated furniture, not too expensive, but still a little bit more modern. And then over here we have the grandparents' bedroom, which is very cramped, but everything works. They just have a nice dresser in here and a mirror. And then over here they have their a little balcony with a chess table, because I felt like that would be cute. And then over here we have the second bathroom, or actually the master bathroom or the main bathroom of the house, with a shower, no tub or anything, but it works perfectly fine. And then that's that for the build. So this Japanese townhouse comes in at 69,672 simoleons. Definitely not a starter home, but I feel like you could save up for it. Like it's a decent price, I feel like. But that's actually already it for this video. So I really hope that you enjoyed this build. You can definitely go ahead and download it off the gallery if you want to. My username on the gallery is Simmarysims. You can also follow me on Twitter and on Instagram if you'd like. My username on there is Simmarysims as well. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, feel free to do so. And if you want to be notified of every single time I upload a video, make sure to click that little bell icon and you should be fine. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next build. Bye!